So let's look at this idea again of the native home of happiness being within. When a person smokes a cigarette, gets the pay rise, contacts his partner, so on and so forth, you get that feeling of being swept up in a positive experience. It feels to us like there's been a lift. The way that Vedanta describes it is it's actually not a lift. Every experience of joy that we have, that we derive from the world, is very much the experience of the cigarette smoker. Why does a cigarette smoker feel joy when he takes a smoke? Put it to you this way. Let's say someone who smokes cigarettes, he smokes every, say, 3-4 hours. That's his sort of regular interval. He's just smoked a cigarette, popped it away, he's happy. What happens after 2.5 hours?
Agitated, uncomfortable.
What is it that tells you you need to have a cigarette? How do you know? There's a point where we're not thinking about cigarettes, and then all of a sudden this thought comes of a cigarette. Whether it's boredom, whether it's anxiety, whether it's whatever. There's something which stimulates that thought of a cigarette. So you get this cigarette flashing across your awareness. You might just sort of ignore it the first time, but then it comes back with a little more urgency. Cigarette, cigarette. Cigarette, cigarette, cigarette. So directly before he lights that cigarette up, what is the state of his mind?
Discomfort or agitation.
Mental agitation. So you've got this constant repeating thought. Cigarette, 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 cigarette. Light that thing, inhale, bliss. So what's happened is that you haven't necessarily been lifted up, but something has been taken away.
Decrease the discomfort.
You have removed the mental agitations associated with the unfulfilled desire. This thought running from you to the world, as he's talking about, is desire. Go back to that same example. You're in a new relationship, and there's that beautiful period of discovery and all the rest of it. You've been apart from your beloved for 6 hours at work. You feel that, I wonder what she's doing, I wonder how he's feeling, I wonder if he's thinking about me. So you text, and you get that, you get it back. Oh, I was thinking about you too. Oh. Again, you get that feeling of bliss, that feeling of peace, because the mental agitation, the desire for contact, is being satiated. So this is how we understand the mechanism of gaining joy from the world. We set up a desire within the personality. You contact the object of desire. Agitations diminish or go away. And what's left? Peace. So mental peace is defined then as the absence of agitations. So there's ripples on the ocean of the mind. Touch the object. The ripples just subside and you get that peaceful mind. The natural state of the inner personality is peace and bliss. Take an analogy at the physical level. What's the natural state of the human body? Cut yourself. What happens? Immediately.
Fight or flight, your body responds.
Your body responds.
Yeah,
Immediately, the body just takes itself towards healing. Completely out of your control, the body, unbidden, will start to clot and heal the wound. So the body's natural state is health. Even as we are growing old and getting diseased and decaying and ultimately dying, what's the body trying to do all the way along? Heal, go towards health. Now, just that so happens that at the age of, say, 95, when you get pneumonia, the physical energies aren't sufficient to overcome that and you may die. But the point is that that direction remains the same all the way through. It's always trying to take you back to that natural state of health. The natural state of the inner personality is one of peace and bliss. So he gives an example in this text. I'm not sure if we've come to it yet or not. So you take a spring, say a couple of feet high. You leave it sitting on the ground. Right? And you take your hand, you push it all the way down as far as it can go. What do you experience? Pressure. Release it to halfway, what do you experience? Less pressure. Release it to 2 feet, what do you experience? No pressure. Why? It's back to its original state. There's no pressure to go anywhere else. And so we are constantly, as human beings, pressurized to get somewhere, which we've called sustained happiness, ongoing happiness. So we've given it the name, ongoing happiness. That's where we're pressurizing, or we feel pressurized to get to, because that's our original state. The body is always trying to get back to health. Our inner personality is always trying to get back to its original state of unbroken satisfaction. Now, the word that they use in this philosophy for that state is, or that location, if you want to use it that way, is the self. So this is why he says, human beings have lost the knowledge of their real self. Because we've lost contact, as it were, with that real self, that unbroken satisfaction, we feel dissatisfied. And then seek ways to get that satisfaction back. Nothing in the world can bring us the thing that we are looking for. So the study of Vedanta is to educate ourselves on worthy objectives upon which to concentrate. What should I be pursuing in life if I want to get to unbroken satisfaction? This is the question that Vedanta asks us to ask ourselves. And it also gives it an answer for your consideration. Vedanta expounds yourself as supreme, whole, absolute. So the self within is said to be supreme, whole, and absolute. It is not incomplete. So if we identify with that self, then we will identify with that completeness. We feel complete.